Those who have watched my previous videos understand that my main task is to return the culture of reverence for the Great Mother, the one Mother of gods and people, who is known by many names: Kali, Lakshmi, Durga, Saraswati, Bhuvaneshwari, Kamala, and so on. It is with the veneration of the Mother that further improvement of both the individual and the society as a whole is possible. However, I understand that I can't help talking about the current state of the world, as well as a particular manifestation of the world, the state and quality of the human brain at this stage of its existence. I have just wanted to say its evolution, but somehow the tongue didn't afford to use this word for what is happening to the brain in our time. This social system in which the whole society lives, in almost all the countries of the world, is based on capitalism. The essence of this socio-economic formation is that the main criterion for making both economic and other decisions is the desire to increase capital, to gain profit, benefits, bigger amount of money, and so on. It is the benefit that is the main criterion in decision making. This must be remembered. The benefit is understood primarily as money, as everything else can be purchased with it. This is where cancer begins. A cancerous tumor that has affected the whole society these days. If the benefit is the main and the only incentive for decision-making, then everything that does not fall under the criterion of benefit is deleted from the concept of expedient and therefore is declared as unnecessary or even harmful. Let's use some examples. For example, there is a scientist who says, "Guys, look, I know how to get energy directly from the air. The infinite energy in any volume you need lies right under your feet. Here is my invention, which allows you to extract the energy in a fraction of a second. You don't need oil, gas, coal, firewood, or whatever else you use to generate energy. It's simple. Press the button, and there will be plenty of energy. Here is this installation. Take it and use it." A few days after this statement, respected academicians of well-known and respected academies begin to ridicule this scientist, declaring his invention either non-working or quack, and most importantly, not scientific. For them it is not scientific, as it is built on principles unknown to these bearded and respected academicians, often with a bare pronunciation of the letter O. So as it is not scientific, it means it is pseudo-scientific, that is harmful and even dangerous. A few weeks or months pass, and we find out that this scientist, thanks to whose invention the world would forever be freed from the energy shortage and would become the owner of an inexhaustible and, most importantly, free source of energy, gets to the hospital with a heart attack, or crashes in a car, or turns out to be accused of some far-fetched article, or he is simply found dead on the street at the entrance of his own house. What is it? An accident? As Mr. Volland said, a brick will never fall on anyone's head for no reason. Or let's remember Friedrich Engels, who said that randomness is an unknown regularity. In order for the pattern to become obvious, you need to ask a simple question. Who benefits from this? The death of the scientist is beneficial to those who own the electric power industry in the capitalist society. How much do you pay for the light, for gas, for heating? Who does all this huge money go to? With whose money do capitalists build palaces for themselves, buy the best cars, take the most expensive whores to the best resorts? No, not with their own money. They are the ones who sell noodles to you, hitting themselves in their chest at the same time and exclaiming, "Everything I have is thanks to my ability and talent to run a business." What kind of business, freak? What are you talking about? What kind of talent do you have? The talent of how to deceive honest people, yes. Only it's not a talent, but a crime. Another example. There is a talented architect who knows how to build a house so that entropy processes are minimized in it. In other words, so that people living in such a house get sick less, age more slowly, feel great, and finally just live in a beautiful, spacious house that can protect a person from particularly any danger. And by the way, the technology of building such houses has been known for thousands of years, but again, by some strange random pattern, no one or almost no one uses them. So, if our talented architect decides to build such a house, then very, very many people will incur material losses. People who are used to profiting from the construction of housing for the population. People who are used to profiting from the treatment of other people. The pocket of those officials who control the country's pension system will also suffer because people will live longer, which means their pension must be paid longer. If the house is built from materials that do not burn, then what should firefighters and the Ministry of Emergency Situations do? If the house is equipped with its own heating and cooling system, functioning smoothly and almost forever, then what should all those who are used to getting fat on heating their residential and commercial sector do? Finally, our talented architect will be told that his project is unprofitable because it is too expensive. It is much more profitable to stamp out dull, high-rise buildings and sell tiny apartments to the population in mortgages with payments for decades, so that worker bees leave work and pay, afraid of losing the job they hate. A working bee is ready for any meaningless to get somewhere and somehow a little more money, so adored by them. Another example, please. There is a doctor, not the doctor who stands for the freedom of non-traditional sexual relations, treating at the same time patients who have contracted AIDS as a result of such relationships, like one of my friends, a doctor with a double Russian surname and a biblical nationality, liberal all over, treats people of blue blood for AIDS, and even in terrible dreams can't imagine what will happen to her if the flow of customers runs out. So, no, that's not the kind of doctor I'm talking about. There is a doctor who knows how to cure cancer, any cancer, at any stage, in just a few days, quickly and forever. He knows how it can be done practically for free, at home, using improvised means, without resorting to any complicated procedures and composing medicines from 1001 expensive components. Then what should big pharmaceutical companies do, making billions of dollars in profits on cancer treatment? What should the entire industry that feeds on imitation cancer treatment do? And if our scientist also finds a way to live so that you never have a heart attack, so that you always have a healthy heart, then how many hundreds of billions of dollars will those who are interested in having as many patients with heart disease in the world as possible lose? As you can see, in the conditions of capitalism, solving problems is unprofitable for those who get fat from parasitizing on these problems. These are very rich people who are trying to play politics and the management of society. Capitalism is when a bunch of parasites sucks the juices from the peoples of the world, slows down scientific progress, and keeps 99% of the population in economic slavery. It is beneficial for capitalists when you are a poor, poorly educated, semi-ill, easily suggestible, weak and weak-willed person. The most terrible thing for capitalists is when you are a self-sufficient and self-aware person who can't be fooled, by fairy tales about the benefits of mortgages, loans, or work in a prestigious firm. A person who can build a house by himself, who can heal himself and his loved ones, who can build his life so that he does not get sick at all and can be happy. Such a person is the main threat to capitalists. A person who is fluent in several professions, having correct philosophical and objective scientific ideas about the world and men, will he allow to be exploited by a bunch of fat scoundrels? No, of course not. The problem is that, in the conditions of a capitalist society, the creation of such a universal person is the main difficulty. Even if there is a program and a system for creating a new person, everything rests on financing, money, as well as in the absence of political and state support for such projects from the state authorities, as politicians are the protégés of the capitalists and fulfill their will, and not at all the will of the people who vote for them. So capitalism is the greatest evil because it destroys nature itself. How many forests have been cut down for the enrichment of a few? How many rivers and lakes have become shallow for the simple reason that the mineral resources of the subsoil are being barbarously seized, and water is filling the voids that have been formed? How many soils and water resources are polluted by emissions from factories and plants, as it is unprofitable for capitalists to create expensive sewage treatment plants, and it is easier to pour waste into nearby water areas. What about the air quality? Are you satisfied with the air you breathe? Why is it of such poor quality? Do you think there are no technologies that allow them to clean the air everywhere? What about the animal world? Animals are still hunted. Although nowadays the problem with food has been solved everywhere, and it is very difficult for even a beggar to starve to death. Let's go deeper and look at how capitalism is destroying the very human nature. Under capitalism, it is unprofitable to do what you like, because often it does not bring any profit. For example, here I am giving a speech, creating a video, posting it on the internet, but it does not bring me any profit, not a cent. On the contrary, I take away my time, I spend energy on it. That is, from the point of view of capitalism, I act extremely irrationally. After all, I could go somewhere and earn more money, then spend it on a better car, a trip, or a restaurant. For a capitalist, what I do is incomprehensible, as he does not understand why he should do anything at all that does not bring material benefits. It is not given to him to understand that man was created by the Mother Goddess for more exalted purposes than just to eat, shit, and copulate. I do what I do to make life on this damn planet better, to plant seeds of truth in you, which, when they germinate, could bear fruit and make the earth a better place to live and to develop than it is now. So, under capitalism, it is unprofitable to do something that does not bring material benefits. And this is an extremely large range of different disciplines and occupations, different types of activities. If your soul is created to be a writer, and you go to the economics department of a university, and then work in a bank, then everything is likely to end sadly for you. You will die early, most likely from a heart attack or from cancer, just because you are not doing what you are inclined to do. Writing, especially in Russia, is almost impossible to earn, but if you work in a bank, you have much more chances to eat bread and butter, and even with a layer of caviar on the top. Under capitalism, it is unprofitable to have many children, or even children at all as such, as raising, feeding, and teaching a child is a big expense, a huge investment of energy and money, and as a rule, without any benefit and without any guarantee of return on the invested funds. All the parents I know have never received any gratitude from their already grown and working children in the form of paid trips abroad, expensive and regular gifts, as well as simple and elementary regular financial assistance as a sign of gratitude for all the years of their feeding and training that their parents have spent on them. And why? These children, they have grown up in the capitalist society, where the main thing is profit. Gratuitous assistance to parents does not fall under the concept of benefits. That is why few children help their parents, sorry to say. By the way, abortions are also from here. Mothers do not know how to feed their child. They understand that they will not be able to fulfill their functions economically, and therefore they commit this crime. You are not satisfied with your job, and your boss, who is a jerk, a freak, shit, and just a scoundrel. But you can't quit. You endure, you smile, you agree, although in your heart you hate and despise. You are being held by loans and mortgages. Your girlfriend, who is used to receiving gifts from you, is holding you in this job too, because she likes presents and presents cost money. You endure, you become a conformist, a compromiser. You sign the papers necessary for the boss, although the decisions are criminal and illegal, don't you? Your opportunities are directly proportional to the salary or income that you have. And as a rule, they are very small. It's good if once or twice a year you manage to go on a short vacation. Change your car every 3 or 4 years and eat tolerably. That's a good thing. Most don't have that either. All this is capitalism. How does a woman in a capitalist society choose a man for herself, a husband? That's right, based on the benefits. She chooses not someone who can give her healthy, beautiful, and intelligent offspring, but someone who has enough money to support her. Optimally, if she is able to find an elderly millionaire who will love her so much that she will live without denying herself anything, including sex with young males in secret from a daddy husband, who, even guessing about being betrayed by such a whore, will forgive her everything for the opportunity to snuggle up to her young standing tits and to fuck her pussy at any time he can. Profit determines everything. Is it any profit to make friends with people who can't afford to go to the same restaurant that you can afford? It's not profitable. Is it any profit to communicate with those who earn less and can't be useful by their position? It's not profitable. A person in this rotten society is valuable only and exclusively based on the material benefits that he or she can bring. Even if he were Leonardo da Vinci, Alexander Pushkin, and Immanuel Kant 3 times, but if there is no benefit from him, then there is no value in him according to this ugly logic. Capitalism is also ugly because, as a rule, only degenerates come to power under capitalism. Corrupt politicians are loud mouths who serve the interests of big capitalists. The interests of big capitalists, remember this, they always go against the interests of the people. Thus, well-known politicians, in words defending the rights of people, in fact defend the rights of the bourgeoisie. Politicians serve the bourgeoisie in the same way as prostitutes serve the same bourgeoisie at night, orally and anally. The latter only in passive form, no doubt. And independent politician is a fairy tale, no less than Americans on the moon, for example. No matter what a scum and scoundrel you are, but if you have money, under capitalism, you are a respected person. You are welcome everywhere. You are smiled at a hotel, in a restaurant, in a massage parlor, everywhere, because you pay money everywhere. As long as you are solvent, you are welcome everywhere. As soon as your money runs out, you are nobody, and the smiles fade as if they never existed. Why is it so that no matter how much you work, you still get little and you don't really have enough for anything? It's just because capitalism is designed to keep you from getting rich. As soon as you start to have some free money, prices rise, or a problem arises that drains your savings. This system is a vicious circle. It is impossible to win in it. Even winning in it and winning a place under the sun, you lose part of your personality, sell your soul to the devil. You become a subhuman, a scoundrel, a bloodsucker. And we know what happens to such creatures in the end. The Great Mother comes to them in the form of the goddess Kali and takes their lives. The body, to the last cell, is gnawed by worms, and the soul goes to the hell, where it remains in torment with the same scoundrels as itself. I know quite a few capitalists, both personally and indirectly. I know their consciousness. Knowing this, I understand for sure that they will not get to heaven in any case. All of them go straight to hell by the fastest train without stopping at intermediate stations. Thus, capitalism eventually deceives its true adherents. Capitalists distorting their souls in such a way that death comes to them not as a blessing but as a curse. Therefore, they are all so afraid of death, so concerned about the health of their decrepit bodies that they inject themselves with various fashionable anti-aging serums into all their cracks, just to prolong their temporary pleasures before the tar cauldron in hell. But no matter how much you run from death, she will come. To every scoundrel, no millions will help, no billions. Sometimes it happens quite unexpectedly. For example, some bourgeois copulates with a young sweet slut, and bang, cardiac arrest of overexcitation at the most inopportune moment. As the very Voland said, yes, man is mortal, but that would be half the trouble. The bad thing is that he is sometimes suddenly mortal. That is the trick. Therefore, for capitalists, in order to save their souls from torment in hell, it is necessary first of all to repent. Secondly, what is needed is to start donating from your income for the construction of temples of the Great Mother. By building temples of reverence for the Mother and changing their consciousness from consumption to charity, capitalists can find a new, more elevated and evolutionary way of life, as well as free themselves from their sins. Mother is merciful, I know. She is able to forgive her lost children. But first you need to create a worthy fruit of repentance. As your whole life has been only material and profit-oriented, the fruit of your repentance must also be material. These are donations. Donations to the temple of the Great Mother. I think everything is clear with capitalism. We can talk about it for hours, giving more and more examples of how ugly it is, both in relation to man and in relation to nature. Then what should the society of the future be like, you ask me? What kind of a world is this? What kind of socio-economic formation that should be created on the ruins of capitalism? I will dedicate my next video to the answer to these questions, and it will be called The Society of the Future: Life Beyond Capitalism.